What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jmell Charlo, Terence Crawford. Get this. Jmell Charlo reacts to the idea of fighting Terence Crawford, and Charlo says that Crawford needs to humble himself and make some big fights at 147 before looking up the scale. Jmell Charlo was talking on TikTok to his fans when he stated, talking about the idea of Terence Crawford potentially moving up to 154 and whether or not he'd be up for a match like that. Charlo, who is currently set to rematch Brian Castano on March 14th, advised Crawford to stay at 147, where he believes he still has unfinished business. The southpaw is spliced together, but check out some of what Charlo had to say about Crawford. So let's take a look.
Your Crawfords, your Crawford. My dog live in Omaha. I know how Omaha roll. Y'all ain't never seen no real shit like this shit here. How about he do his best and go fight Earl Spence then? Shut up, take a little bit less money, be quiet, humble yourself, and fight Earl Spence, he a stud. Do what he say, and then you might be the challenger sometimes. Bob Arum don't give a damn about him. Bob Arum told him to his face, he done got lawsuits with his own promoter. You ain't worth shit to me, for real. You got Ennis, you got Garcia, you got Thurman, you got people making a name for themselves in your own weight division. Sit your ass in your weight division and see if you can beat one of them. Cause fucking with me, you gonna get knocked the fuck out. I'm a knockout artist, baby.
Wow. Those are the words of Jmell Charlo. Now, let me counterpunch this video, right? Jmell says that Errol Spence needs to, Errol Spence. Terence Crawford needs to make, or to take take less money. Look, that money issue is contentious because you're looking at a guy that trains with Errol Spence. So, of course, he's going to back any financial backing. They got the same trainer. The trainer's a dickhead, too. You know, Derek James is a dickhead because he thinks he's a manager, right? And him saying, be humble. Like, why the hell does Terence Crawford need to be humble? I haven't never seen Jmell Charlo be considered pound for pound on any pound for pound list at all. Okay? Before or after he got defeated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, you're just saying that because you're friends with Errol Spence. See, that narrative that Terence Crawford needs to take more money, or less money rather, right, to fight someone that's been in the same fucking weight class forever, that probably doesn't even belong in the weight class. Let's be real about that. You expect him to take less money, regardless of what he's having to do with his promoter, right? That's one thing. But him saying, well, hey, sit down, or you don't need to be at 154 because you're going to get knocked the fuck out. Okay, well, fine. Knock out Brian Castano. Knock him out, because that's what you have to worry about. Now, I'm not saying Jmell Charlo doesn't have the capability. I'm just saying he's not on the skill set of Terence Crawford. And in fact, if Terence Crawford was to move to 154, I think that would be the guy that he would have to take out. Erislandy Lada's too old. Let's be real. Who else is there now? Jmell, is Swift Herd there? I don't know. I don't know if Swift Herd is there, but there's not many people at 154 anymore. They've went to 160. Matter of fact, Erislandy Lada's at 160, so he couldn't even fight him anyway because Lada is at 160, which he should have been at 160. But he's a smaller guy. He's not a very big guy. Jmell Charlo is a big boy, so, you know, I think he has the punching power. I think he's tough as shit, Jmell, because he can take punches, but I think that would be the perfect fight. because if Errol Spence moves up, he can't fight Jmell because they train together, right? Again, Derek James. So him saying that, it sounds a little biased. Him saying, oh, you need to humble yourself, take less money. You know what I mean? You just sound like a good friend of Errol Spence. You know what I mean? But him saying that he can knock out Terence Crawford, well, Terence Crawford may have some fights that he could fight at 150 and 147. That's true. I do agree with Jmell with that, but so does Jmell. You have unfinished business with Castano, and a lot of people think you lost to Castano. You know what I mean? And I think he was really just fortunate and happy enough and content enough to get a draw. Okay? So when him saying, hey, he needs to move up, hey, he's already made that claim. He's already planted that seed. So if Terence Crawford does move up, well, you said you can knock him out. So let's see that fight get made. And if that fight is harder to get made, just like your friend Errol's fight to get made, we can see why these fights are not getting made. Okay, so Terence Crawford is a guy that he deserves respect, okay? And that's what he's expecting. He's expecting respect, and he wants it. He didn't get it from his promoter, so he wants it from the others. He needs to get with Floyd, Money Mayweather, to see if we can get those type fights like Keith Thurman. Why not a Keith Thurman Terence Crawford fight? So Terence Crawford can knock him off, or we can see what happens with Keith Thurman and Terence Crawford. Okay, but Errol Spence, I don't think really wants to fight him like Terence Crawford wanted to fight him once upon a time. You know what I mean? Because that confrontation was all bullshit. This guy's in your face telling you, hey, I want this fight. And you're telling him, hey, this is what my advisors, these are the fighters my advisor wants me to fight. That's all that happened, with that confrontation. Nothing else was said. So, my own boss, I'm my own boss, but I'm saying what an advisor had in store for me instead of the guy that's calling me out in front of my face. That's what I saw. Now, for Jmell Charlo, I would love to see that fight, because if Terence Crawford's going to come to win 154, he's going to come to conquer it. So, yeah, he would fight Jmell Charlo first. Depends on what Jmell does with Castano, because Castano could beat Jmell Charlo. And then it wouldn't matter anyway, right? But he would take him on, take on fighters like Brian Castano, and anybody else up there to claim division. And then Errol Spence could come there, and then we would be faced with that. But the question you would ask yourself then is, how long would Terence Crawford have left to fight at that elite level, being the age that he is? How long can he do it for? That's what I wonder, because he's already 34. He'll be 35 in, I think, in like October or something like that. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Jmell Charlo telling Terence Crawford, stay in your weight class, or you would be knocked out by me if you come to 154. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.